Welcome to December 5th, Facebook Live on Texas Counselors Creating Badass Businesses. I'm so glad you guys are here. So this is all about the goal setting. We're in December and everybody always thinks of January as, okay, I'm going to hit the ground running and we have the New Year's Day effect, which is something that gym owners truly love because people join gyms and then they don't go. So gym owners make a lot of money and their equipment doesn't get used. Looks like my family is picking a great time to text me, so I'll be looking at their text while we're doing this. Hey Linda, thanks for joining. And so today, actually all this month, we're going to talk about goal setting, how to set good goals, what's a SMART goal, what are specific, measurable, trackable, attainable goals. I'm going to try to turn my sound off so at least my family's not dinging when they text me. And so one of the things I posted today was how to set good goals. And I like this article and it was good kind of fodder to think about. And so I wrote down a bunch of the stuff that the article talks about. And those of you who have never done FaceTime Lives before, just FYI, you are seeing my flipped board. So everything I write on my whiteboard, I've got to write backwards. So I apologize for my handwriting, but it's kind of fun. I feel like I'm gonna, get a job at Macaroni Grill and, write my name upside down. So the things that we see, career goals, financial goals, education goals, family goals, all the way to social service, pleasure goals, physical goals. These are all wonderful, wonderful things. But you guys know me, and one of the things I always take you back to are financial goals. One of, I don't know if you guys know the statistics, and I don't know why you would. A lot of counselors, most counselors are women, and so I looked at some data for women closer to my age in the 50s, and there is a huge gap between wealth, right? So this growing part of our society of women over 50 living in poverty. And there are lots and lots of reasons for that. And I'll let you kind of Google that and see. Hey Solano, thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. So if you look at these goals, yes, they're all wonderful, wonderful goals, all of them. But without your financial goals met, it's going to be hard to sustain them. One of the things I talk about all the time is this idea that if you're going to start a business, you better make it sustainable. Number one, because it's a good income, right? You need to have a job. But number two, because your community is counting on you. Hey Jessica, thanks for joining. So when you are, especially if you're female, and I don't want to discount any of the guys watching, but if you want to have all of these wonderful altruistic goals, everything from artistic to attitude to social, and you don't plan to take care of yourself, there's a problem. And, I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram, but one of the things you see me posting are, I post pictures of my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law is living in a little casita in our backyard, and she came to live with us about 6 months ago. And she is a wonderful woman, but she is part of that women in their 50s, 60s, 70s who are in poverty because, again, lots and lots of reasons. But it comes down to this idea of sometimes we don't think about who is going to take care of us, right? And, for your younger women out there, I know sometimes I'll meet you. Oops. Sorry about that. Had a phone call. Had to decline that. I'll meet you guys for coffee, and one of the things I'll say, so who's going to take care of you? Okay, now my other kid wants to call me. 9:30 is kind of a hot time at the Walker household. Who's that? I don't know you. Hey, I can't read that. Hold on, gotta get my glasses on. Hi Kata, thanks for joining. So I came up with a couple of goofy words, and one is YUG, right? Years above ground. And so you have some productive years above ground. I call those the working years above ground, the W-YAG, right? And then you're going to have some disabled years above the ground. And nobody likes to think about that. But if you think about your working years above the ground, that's gonna, oh gosh, now my dogs are barking. If you are like me, you're planning on working until you die. I mean, I love my work. I can do this. Look, I'm in my house. It's not a problem. I like to sell courses from my house. I do counseling from my house. It's wonderful. So I plan on having lots and lots of working years above the ground. Well, about 12 years ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And that took a hit, right? So what am I going to do? If I can't work, if I can't talk, I can't contribute to my family's household income. And so what I came up with, and I actually hired a business coach at that time, because I really had to get my head around how was my business going to adapt to my illness, and what would happen if the illness became something that I couldn't overcome. How was I going to then provide for my family? Well, everybody thinks about life insurance, but I've never thought about disability insurance, right? Life insurance is absolutely going to help my family out after I'm gone. Hey Megan, thanks for joining. But disability insurance was huge, and of course, since I'm a cancer survivor, I couldn't get disability insurance for years, and now I pay a lot for it. But it is something that gives me some peace of mind. The other thing my business coach taught me was this idea of how many years above ground, or how much money do I need each year? So, you guys, I know you may hate math, but don't kill me for this. Let's estimate you've got about 20 years, working years above ground. You're going to need, and let's say just roughly, it takes you about $65,000 to live. That's your mortgage, that's your health insurance premium, that's your groceries, $65K. For 20 years of work, you are going to need about $1.3 million. You're going to have to earn $1.3 million. This is not your savings account, folks. This is not going into your IRA. That fell down. $1.3 million for your working years above ground. Now imagine, let's be generous, let's give ourselves 5 disabled years above ground. So that means someone will have to be responsible for our care. Now, after this time I spend with my mother-in-law and, you know, the things that she has to go through, what we know, it's so roughly average in the state of Texas, in this part of Texas, it's about $3,500 a month for home care, in-home care, or residential care. So if you plan on living another 5 years disabled above ground, you're going to need about $210,000. That's in your savings account, right? So you have, and that's, I mean, you guys see how kind of rough I'm being here. That's planning on 5 years disabled above ground. So if something happens and, you know, that's wonderful, you live a bit longer, well, what do you do then? Where do you go if you have this beautiful place and then you have to go someplace else? So that's why, if you work with me, if you're in this group, Jessica, I'm glad it's good timing. I know, because a lot of us don't think about this. A lot of us do our vision boards based on, and you know, I'm a huge proponent of this. What kind of car do you want to drive? Do you want to live in the mountains or on the beach? Do you want a mansion? Do you want a cottage? Craftsman style? You know, contemporary. I'm always wanting you to think about the beautiful life you want to live. But in order to set effective goals for 2020, I'm going to really force you to think about one in particular, and financial, right? You've got to start off with this idea that in your business, the business that you're running right now, whether you're a supervisor, whether you are just a clinician, not just a clinician, if you're a clinician, if you have a big practice, if you have a solo practice, you have to think in terms of what you need to pay your bills, and then what you need in order to set aside this money for your disabled years above ground, your D-YAG, okay? So I don't know what that number is for you. And if you have sat down, if you have a partner, if you have a committed person in your relationship and you're able to sort of combine income, that's a beautiful thing. There are things that you can do as a solo practitioner, as a business owner. You can do something called a SEP IRA. I'm not an accountant, but you can sure contact one and get more information about that. So goal number one, right, as we talk about, as we do, you know, we are backwards planning our great big badass goals. One of the goals I want each of you to set is to make an appointment to talk with a financial planner. Now, they're kind of like us. You kind of have to interview them in order to kind of find the one that fits you. But once you find one that you like, who's going to understand, who will take the time to get to know you and understand your financial goals, then you can start constructing your job to fit your goals, right? So I have people all the time, they want to do a business consultation with me. And, you know, I start off with this question, well, how much money do you want to make? And they're not really sure because we've been trained to not want to make too much money, right? And then, but on the same side, we have this nagging question about buying groceries. And so it's jarring. So I ask them to do a simple, you know, think of your schedule like a hotel. And you have 8 rooms you have to sell every day. Well, what would it be like if you could sell more rooms? What if you could have another stream of income and you could basically be working while you're sleeping? So you have to start with this idea of a number, right? And if that is, you know, $65,000 a year, that's what the K is, $65K a year. All right, well, backwards plan that. If that means you're going to have 60 direct hours a month. Now notice I'm not saying 60 clients a month. I'm saying 60 direct hours a month, and you want to charge $150 for each one of those direct hours, right? Now you can start doing some math to figure out how to maintain those 60 hours a month. Now, you and I talked about last week how to do your elevator talk so you can turn the world into your referral source. Then you can tell people, hey, look, I am looking for 60, I gotta fill 60 hours this month. 60 hours, something about when you're able to say 60 out loud, when you can write it on your whiteboard, the number 60, I need 60 filled slots each month at this rate. It makes a huge difference. Some people don't understand that, you know, you don't need to add an extra stream of income if you could get the same amount just by raising your rate $10 an hour or getting off of one insurance panel, right? I personally never raise rates for existing clients. You know, it's a different kind of a business model that I use, but I do raise rates for my incoming folks. And, you know, I have done that, and I've got plans that people can get on. So I have different ways that I can be creative, but still maintain the amount of money that I need each month in order to make, you know, whatever my number is, right? And then I've got this that's constantly building so that I'm able to take care of my disabled years above ground. So number one is financial goals. So if you have questions, post them up in the comments here, because I know a lot of folks go back and look at these later, and I do check. I do read these later, and I can answer them and respond to you. Another way you guys know you can always contact me through consultation. I can't do, you know, I'm on Facebook, but I'm not always the one posting. So you can always go to my DIY mentoring program. There we go. And that's at my website, katewalkertraining.com. Or you can even get a 1-hour consultation with me. Hey, Ashton, so glad you joined us today. But a SMART goal, and we teach our clients this is a specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, trackable goal. So, you know, it's something where as you're making your vision board, and I hope all of you are making your vision board in December, you are able to say not just, oh, I want to live in a beautiful place someday, or gosh, I hope there's someone around to take care of me, you know, when in my disabled years above ground. No, this is you saying, I've got to contact 4 people and let them know my Disabled Years Above Ground plan, and make sure that they understand and have access to this, and this information. It's never too early to start that. Or if you're in a huge practice but you're getting super overwhelmed and you're pulling your hair out, it's about how to slowly scale down and then make sure that you're making the same amount of money as a solo practitioner. I'll never forget, I read an article in Counseling Today, and it talked about how and at the time I had a huge practice, how when you finally sat down and did your profit and loss sheet, you actually saw you made the same amount of profit with a solo practice with about half the work. So that might be another thing to do as you're getting your goals together this month. I want you to approximate how much it's costing you to do all the stuff outside your business. So I saw, Jessica, I'm going to call you out. I saw on Facebook that you were hiring for an admin assistant. I thought that was amazing. That's so great, because every time you sit down to do the work in your office, charge yourself. Act like you're charging $150 an hour for that work. Now take that out of your P&L, and you'll see your profits start to shrink. Now, I'm not the IRS. You cannot write off that time. I'm sorry. But you'll start to see that, okay, you doing it for $150 an hour makes no sense when you can hire somebody for like $12 an hour to do that, right? So now you are spending time doing things that actually make you money, while someone else is making $12 an hour, and it's going to take them maybe 3 hours, because you'll have to teach them how to do it. You'll have to train them, get them up to speed. Hey, Matt, glad you joined us today. But at the end, let's say it takes them 3 hours at $12 an hour, that's $36. Whereas if you'd done it for 3 hours, let's see if I do my math right, that's $450, right, of your time, and it was stuff that you were doing that wasn't making you money. So, also going on your goal sheet this year, go through everything you do in a week and pick out the things that actually make you money. For example, answering your phone. You know, we talked last time about how hair salons train their receptionists to convert clients. Dentist's office send receptionists, dental assistants, dental hygienists to places, conferences, trainings, and they track how many of their patients that they convert actually turn into appointments, and then how much money those appointments earn. Y'all, we are not reinventing the wheel here. The idea that the phone call where you talk to your client and convert them from a potential client into a client, treat them, and then you become the one that they return to later, or send family members to, or refer other community members to, that is how you earn your living, right? Tweaking your website, creating a brochure, designing another logo for your business card. If that takes you 4 hours and you charge $100 an hour, you have just spent $400 on something that's not even guaranteed to give you any return. Remember your goal. Keep doing it the wrong way. There it is, right? If you plan on working above ground 20 years and your household bills are $65K a year, you've got $1.3 million you have to make, plus an extra $210,000 if you plan on being disabled above ground for another 5 years. I don't know about you guys, I'd like a little more time above ground. So of course there are other things to look into. There are long-term health care plans, insurance plans that kick in once you're not able to work above ground. And those things you need to look into it as well. In fact, that would make an awesome goal for 2020, right? You're going to make an appointment with your financial advisor. Talk to your insurance agent. See what kind of long-term health coverage there is out there, right? If you are just thinking that I'm speaking Latin right now, then you probably need to take something called Financial Peace University. And no, I don't work for Dave Ramsey either. Financial Peace University is offered lots of places. It's super cheap. It's like $100 for 9 weeks of, you actually go to a place and watch a video. In fact, they may be so advanced that you could probably rent the videos too. So yeah, put that on your goal sheet. Go learn what your money is doing. Now, in a couple of weeks, I'm going to do another FaceTime Live about that. Next week, I'm going to talk about Marie Kondo, not because I am endorsing her, but it's become a verb in my family. We got to Marie Kondo that shit. And so if you are looking around at your life, at your paperwork, at your scheduling software, at your, oh my gosh, I don't even want to think about it, your voicemail queue, right? And you see that all of this stuff is sort of eating you alive. It's time to Marie Kondo that shit. And we will do that next week. Other things that we're going to do in December, well, it's all going to be related to goal setting. If you guys have something in particular that you would like me to cover, I would love to. So again, these are all really, really good goals. I love them all. But it's when I see counselors start the nonprofit before they've earned enough money to pay their groceries, right? That's backwards. When you read, whether it's Business Insider or Time Magazine or whatever your magazine of choice is, you will see folks who have already become millionaires starting the nonprofit, right? Think of it as buckets. You've got to fill the bucket that takes care of you before filling the bucket that takes care of everybody else. Oh my gosh, where have we heard that before? Yeah, it's what we teach our clients. So a couple of other things that I want to make sure you know. If you are a supervisor, don't forget, we've got the Texas Supervisor Training Group. It's a closed group just for supervisors, and we've started posting openings for interns. So it's something where I've formed some relationships with some intern Facebook groups, and I'm able to take, if you have openings, I'm going to post it on their website. So I'm pushing some hopefully super, super good interns your way. Hey Dee, thanks for joining. That's so good. Fill your own bucket. Yes, I wish I'd made that up, but I didn't. I actually stole that from somebody. But yes, you have to fill your own bucket, then you can fill the other ones. So Texas Supervisor Training page. It's an ask to join because it's a closed group. So just head over there, answer the 3 questions. I will need your license number so I can verify it. Consultation group, if you are a supervisor, and I should have every supervisor on this page because you have 2 streams of income you're trying to manage, right? So our next consultation group is January 27th, and that's just for intern consultation. Oh my gosh, I need to wrap this up because my dogs are going crazy. I hope I'm not getting robbed. That would be terrible. Knowing my dogs, they would bark at them rather than try to get them out of the house. As always, if you need a specialized consultation, you can go to www.katewalkertraining.com and you can get a specialized consultation with me. You can also purchase the 8-week self-paced DIY course. My goodness, I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. That includes phone calls with me. So I guess I need to wrap this up because my family really does not like when I set boundaries. I don't know if you guys feel that with me. I set boundaries, my family doesn't like it, but that's okay. Remember, counselors don't quit. You are in this business to make a living. You don't go broke. You know the rules, so you're not going to mess up. You're not going to burn out. We need you too much to have you succumb to something like poverty after you have worked years and years doing good for the world. So take this seriously. December, we are all about the goal setting. Hashtag, right? Counselors don't quit. Follow me on Instagram. You can see lots of pictures of my dear sweet mother-in-law as we decorate for Christmas. And I'll even post a few pictures of my dogs who are, I guess, done protecting my house. So thanks for watching, everybody. And I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks, Solanjo. I'm glad it was helpful.